Welcome into Outkick the Show Friday edition. I hope all of you are having fantastic Fridays wherever across this great nation you may find yourselves. And I hope whatever you are doing that you are headed for fun. A lot of stuff to get to here. We are going to be live right after this Astros game against the Tampa Bay Rays ends on FS1, or about like 10 minutes after with Lock It In. And then I am hopping immediately into a car, and I am headed to Knoxville to go to the Georgia-Tennessee game. If you are an Outkick VIP, we are having an event tonight in Knoxville at 9:30, Outkick VIP meetup. You can get the information on our message board. You can sign up for Outkick VIP on Outkick.com. Click on the link at the top of the page. It will take you right there, or go read the mailbag. You can go there. Hopefully, I get to see some of you tonight. We'll have a good time, and then we'll go to the game tomorrow, and hopefully Tennessee will be able to cover the 25. But first of all, I have got to get to a lot of things. The mustache is not as much of a disaster today as it was the past 2 days. That I appreciate all the prayers, all the thoughts and prayers, all the well wishes for the latest in my mustache. I want to start off right here. With my gambling picks. I got two for you tonight. Two gambling picks tonight, same game. I think Central Florida is going to cover the 4 or 3.5, depending on what it is, wherever you are, against Cincinnati. And also, I think the over is going to hit. That's tonight, Friday night. What about next, later in the week? Penn State on Saturday. I like to cover Purdue. I like Mizzou to cover against Troy. I like Washington to blow out Stanford. I like Iowa, Michigan, the under. I like Georgia, Tennessee. I like Tennessee to cover the 25. I like, or 24.5 or 24, whatever it is, wherever you are. I like Oklahoma to blow Kansas out. Here is time for the blood bank guarantee. It's a double. Tap the vein, boys and girls. Tap the vein. I am all over Auburn. It's down to 2.5 right now. And I also love the under. It's around 49. Double blood bank guarantee there. And then Michigan State plus the 20-ish against Ohio State. There you have it. All of my gambling picks. We're going 11-0 this week. So hop in for all of those. I want to say now, those are my college football gambling picks. I got to say this right now. All right, are you ready? I had to have such a difficult conversation with my son last night, my 9-year-old. Wasn't the birds and the bees. It was a discussion about the Braves postseason in October and how in the world a young kid is supposed to understand how to confront the awfulness that is the Braves in October. Okay, I don't know if you watched this game last night, but the Braves choked away again. This is crazy. It's an unbelievable history. The Braves have lost in the postseason 9 straight game ones. Do you know how hard it is in baseball to lose 9 straight in anything, much less 9 straight series game ones, like they lost last night to the Cardinals? And also, they have not won a baseball postseason series since 2001. Almost 20 years when you consider how many opportunities they have had to win a Major League Baseball postseason game series. That's unbelievable. Atlanta area sports fans are so cursed right now with an inability to win. So my son, the 9-year-old, has got the Ozzy Albie chain. We're watching it last night. And at the end of the game, he just turns to me and he looks up at me, and his eyes are filled with such gloom, with such dismay, with such unhappiness. And he said to me, "Dad, why can't the Braves play in the playoffs like they play in the regular season?" And I said to him, "Son, that is a question that Atlanta Braves fans have been asking long since before you were born." And I had to sit him down and talk to him about the October futility of the Atlanta Braves. He's blissfully unaware. He walked right into the postseason with a big smile on his face, expecting a trip right to the World Series. And then, boom, the cold, hard slap of reality. Acuna's not running again, although he did hit a 450-foot home run. And I thoroughly expect for the Braves now to lose to the Cardinals in the first round of this series. We'll see what happens today. It's a must-win game. You can't lose the first 2 at home. We'll see what ends up taking place. But I had to have that conversation with him about the Braves' futility. And I didn't even feel comfortable having to have that conversation. I was hoping there would be no point in sitting back and talking to him about all these games that happened before he was a fan, and most of which were before he was alive. But I had to talk to him after they lost game 1. And people say, are you a Braves fan now? I root for my kids to be happy. I'm becoming an old man in that I root for my kids to be happy. So if that makes me a Braves fan, yes, but I'm primarily rooting for my kids to be happy. It doesn't really matter to me what happens in these games. So yes, I am rooting for the Braves because my 9-year-old has become a Braves fan, but I wouldn't classify myself as a Braves fan. I grew up a fan of the Cincinnati Reds and then kind of lost interest in baseball along the way. Let's talk about this Sports Illustrated mess. I don't know how many of you were paying attention to this, but yesterday a new owner came in at Sports Illustrated and wiped out effectively half of the staff at Sports Illustrated. And we got a lot of young guys and girls out here who pay attention to what I do at Outkick. And this is a fascinating business study that you could examine. It's what happened to Sports Illustrated's business when the internet took over and disrupted everything. If they could go back in time, SI could, to like 1994 or 1995, right as the internet was beginning, I wish we could all go back to that era. There are a lot of things that could be done differently, but the message that I would go back with would be this. You can't give everything away for free and expect that you're going to make the money back off of premium advertising offerings, because that was the expectation that was sold at that point in time. We're going to make the money back that we lose from print online through digital advertising. That was a lie, okay? And what ended up happening was they cannibalized their existing print media business by giving everything away for free online, and they took what would have otherwise been a high-end prestige brand, and they turned it into a crap brand that cost way too much to compete in the internet era. As print collapsed, they tried to do 2 things, and I think there's an analogy here for what's going on with ESPN right now. They tried to fight a 2-fronted war. And if you learn anything in general, it's hard to fight a 2-fronted war. They tried to continue with the print while also simultaneously going with the digital. And in retrospect, do you know the only real major media company that got the necessity for paywalls from the start? The Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal used to get ripped to the high heavens in the early days of the internet because they insisted on having a paywall. They said, we're not going to give away our content that we sell for a lot of money in the newspaper online and expect that we're going to be able to make it back. We're a premium product. And if you had a setup in general that would have allowed Sports Illustrated to immediately go all in on the idea of premium subscriptions, they could have been The Athletic before The Athletic disrupted and destroyed their own business. I think the way forward here for Sports Illustrated is pretty clear. They're going to wring every single dollar of efficiency they can get out of this brand, and in a decade, it's effectively going to be dead. I think it's an easy analogy to make with Forbes. Do you remember Forbes magazine back in the day? It's a really high-end business magazine, and then they said, we're going to dominate online, but they sold their brand for the lowest common denominator, and along the way, their brand effectively became valueless, but they made a little bit of money, and then it's dead. That's what's going to happen with Sports Illustrated. And so as you break through here, and by the way, there's always somebody who comes on and says, I can tell you how to read so-and-so for free. You are the reason why the internet is crap, okay? If you are trying not to pay for quality, then what you are going to be left with is crap, okay? That is the truth. People out there who say, I'll never pay for X. Okay, fine. You are helping to destroy the ecosystem of written content. I understand. You have that right. You can go onto a website with 50 pop-up ads that would have, with 50 pop-up ads that are otherwise not going to allow you to easily read. Almost every other content creating company does things for free. This is a good analogy that I like to make. Starbucks doesn't tell you, hey, come get our coffee and we're going to sell advertising to you while you're getting our coffee and we will give it away to you for free. Think about this for a minute. Very few successful businesses say, we will give you away our product for free, and all we ask is that you look at the advertisers that are there. Very, very few businesses do that. If Starbucks did that, they would go bankrupt almost immediately. And so what has happened in general here is that the written content universe tried to compete with the idea being everything should be free. And the problem with everything should be free is you end up with a lot of crap because quality talent requires money. And so I don't understand why in the world this idea took root. It's an example of conventional wisdom being utterly wrong, that the internet, everything should be free and advertising dollars, we're going to pay for everything. Now what you see is virtually every major news creator, i.e. producing brand new news, is charging now. And so the idea that everything should be free on the internet was fundamentally broken, and it's broken a lot of businesses, and it's cost people a lot of jobs. Now, here's what I would say about SI in general. I've been fired. I was writing at a site called Fan House that a lot of you don't understand or even remember that it existed, right? You don't even know that it should exist. And so when you actually think about it, I got fired along with like 100 other people. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I took control over my future by creating a brand new brand, which is this one now, Outkick, which has given me the ability to make a lot of money, more than I ever anticipated I would make, and more importantly, given me 100% creative freedom and the opportunity to control every single aspect of my career. I don't have to rely on anybody else to make a good living for the rest of my life. I would tell those SI writers to think about the future and not trying to become employees. Think about ways to own your future. So that is an important lesson. Everybody in this age and era that we live in is probably going to get fired at some point in time. And it may not be because, probably won't be because of anything you did. It's because of everything that you have gotten into. Somebody just said, isn't all of your content free? Yeah, so far it has been free. But I think at some point I may put Outkick behind a premium wall. I give a lot of free content. 3 hours of radio, an hour of television, 30 minutes of this, hours of writing every day. I may at some point decide, you know what? I'm going to put everything on Outkick behind a premium wall and test it as a business because I've given 8 years of content away for free. And as a result, I think maybe the future might make more sense in being able to put some stuff behind a paywall, charge for other things. I'm not sure. It's kind of intriguing to think about what the smartest business model might be. But if The Athletic is going to sign up 1 million people to pay for their content, I'm confident I could sign up 25,000 to pay for Outkick. I don't think that would be very tough at all. I think it would be pretty easy. And again, I'm going to have to block this guy because he's dumb, and I don't know who that is. But I don't care about free content. I care about content that can't be duplicated. And no one duplicates very much what I do right now. So if people choose not to consume my content because they're not willing to pay for it, it's something that I think would be an intriguing way to analyze things. Because in this new era we live in, if I have, let's say, 1 million people come to Outkick every month, all right, let's just say 1 million, nice round number, 1 million people come and be there, all right? And by the way, this guy, good Lord, somebody said, you duplicated Barstool. I have very little overlap with Barstool at all. Okay, and then Barstool has a premium section of their site too. But if you have 1 million, let's say 1 million people come to your website, and I make very little off of display advertising from that 1 million, why wouldn't you make money off the 25,000 and not care about the other 975,000? I'm not sure that the business model of just quantity, where you have a lot of people who come for free, it necessarily makes sense when you could charge for a small number of people. Right? So I think it's really kind of intriguing to think about the way the business model works. McDonald's doesn't worry about everybody who drives by their restaurant on the corner. They worry about everybody who parks and comes in and buys food from them. So this is an interesting question that I think is worth examining, but I think it's the challenge of SI. I'm going to write a big piece on this. I wrote some on it on the message board today. Sorry, on the mailbag today, and I would encourage you guys to check it out. I think it's pretty entertaining. All right, Georgia-Vols. I am going up. To the game as soon as we finish Lock It In a little bit later, which is on after the Astros game. I'm going up to the Georgia-Tennessee game. Couple of stats for you on this. Georgia is 3-9-1 in the last 13 when it comes to against the spread. Okay, 3-9-1. When you actually think about the 3-9-1 against the spread, it's intriguing. I think Tennessee's going to cover the 25. We'll end up losing by 17, and it will be intriguing to think about before all is said and done in this game. I like Tennessee's ability to cover. But again, we are going to have an awesome time tonight with the VIP crew in Knoxville. I'm hopping in a car, and I will be up there right soon after Lock It In is finished. So I appreciate all of you. As we leave, I want to say at least you guys are probably not Redskins fans, because Jay Gruden has got all sorts of stuff that is going on, and this is going to be a real mess for Jay Gruden. He has decided to start Colt McCoy. I have no idea at all what's going on with that decision. But let me say this. As well. I believe if you watched last night's Seahawks-Rams game, Rams on the road against Seahawks, this was one of the best performances I've seen in a long time from a long list of great performances by Russell Wilson. All right? Russell Wilson is maybe the most underrated quarterback in the modern era of the NFL. The throw that he made to Tyler Lockett for the first touchdown is a throw that very few people could have ever made in the history of the NFL. Maybe Aaron Rodgers can make that throw. Maybe, possibly Patrick Mahomes can make that throw. Hardly anybody, if you saw that first touchdown pass, would even think to attempt that. That is absolutely incredible to see. And I think Russell Wilson is the most underrated quarterback in the NFL right now. Back to Jay Gruden. He's just out of it now. Back to Jay Gruden. He's starting Colt McCoy. Remember the debate that was out there about who should be the starter for the Washington Redskins. Case Keenum is out. Now we've got Colt McCoy going. Alex Smith's got the broken leg. The Jay Gruden mess, there's all sorts of pictures out there of him going viral right now. This is, I think, one of the most intriguing storylines out there, because if you remember, in general, the storyline of Daniel Jones versus Dwayne Haskins, what does it say about Dwayne Haskins' readiness to be a starting quarterback in the NFL? That Colt McCoy, coming off of a broken leg, who can barely run early in training camp, is now going to start and be in this position. I think it is really wild to even think about how all of that is going to shake itself out. That Dwayne Haskins, who Redskin fans were singing the praises of, and who everybody on Twitter was out there saying, you know what? How in the world are you not making the decision to go out and choose to be making Daniel Jones the number 6 overall pick? It's really wild to even contemplate how much things have swung in that direction so quickly. Just absolutely incredible to follow in general, how Daniel Jones has gone from the worst pick ever at number 6 to now the presumptive Rookie of the Year favorite, and Dwayne Haskins can't even get in to start. Just goes to show you how quickly conventional wisdom can be proven wrong. All right, I love all of you. We will be live for the Astros right after the Tampa Bay Rays and Houston Astros game ends on FS1. I am headed up to Knoxville to go watch Georgia and Tennessee play. I hope all of you have a fantastic day. My name is Clay Travis. Clay Kyle, always locked and loaded. There are very few people in the history of mankind who've been able to talk, carry on simultaneous conversations, and decide to look over and be reading all these comments simultaneously. Few people in history of mankind have been able to process and talk faster when it comes to information than your boy. Kisses. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. I will see some of you up for the Georgia-Tennessee game. Look forward to it. Watch us on Lock It In here in a little bit. Have a great weekend. Double blood bank guarantee. Auburn -2.5 and the under in the game against Florida. Double blood bank guarantee. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. I'll see you boys. Bye. Love you. Thank you, Facebook. See y'all.